Good evening and thank you for joining us on PS News. I'm Charlyn Garcia. Coming up, how Argentina is protecting younger children at this stage in the COVID pandemic, how the Halloween capital of the world is preparing for October's holiday, and Brett Favre's recent charity legal issues. All this and more as PS News starts now. Let's take a look at what's happening around the world. Argentina's Buenos Aires province is now vaccinating children ages 3 to 11 against the coronavirus. The local health minister calls it a key step in the COVID-19 preparedness. Local media report children will be getting the Chinese Sinopharm shot. This comes almost a week after the Pan American Health Organization announced that it had closed vaccine supply agreements with Sinopharm, among other vaccines, and that it is in conversations with member states who want to purchase it directly through the revolving fund. Sinopharm, it was approved for emergency use by the World Health Organization in May. Imagine having a pair of lawn ornaments worth $250,000. It happened to one family in England. Among these items they decided to sell when moving to a new home were these two statues that were in their garden. The family paid a few $100s for them 15 years ago at an auction. They were thought to be replicas of ancient Egyptian relics dating back to thousands of years. But when the new auction house put them on the block, eagle-eyed bidders realized they were the actual real thing. Biddings started about $400, quickly went up to $265,000. The winning bid went to an international gallery. Researchers are looking into exactly how old these statues are and how they got to England. In Spain, thousands of people in La Palma are wondering if and when they'll be able to return home. This video, recorded Tuesday afternoon by the Geological and Mining Institute, shows how lava is moving on top of the lava that spilled out previously. A geologist from the Spanish National Research Council explains that this creates a cold crust on the surface. Authorities are also tracking lava following from the volcano towards the Atlantic Ocean. If molten lava reaches the sea, it can create dangerous chemical reactions and toxic gas. That's all for Global Stories. When we come back, we will look at news from around the nation.
Fitty Sports has been serving its communities, local high schools, youth commissions, clubs, and other businesses since 1984. We specialize in trophies, screen printing, sporting goods, embroidery, office apparel, uniforms, hats, t-shirts, and more. Regardless of the size of your project, you will have the full participation and dedication of our design team. No job is too big or too small, keeping you involved every step of the way so that your vision is our design. Stop into Fitty Sports or call us to see what we can do for you.
Welcome back. Here is tonight's national news. The ultimate Halloween story is back from the grave outside the famous town of Sleepy Hollow, New York. A spectacular display of thousands of jack-o'-lanterns light up the night and recreate Irving's legendary headline horseman. This is the great jack-o'-lantern blaze of the Hudson Valley, where the story behind the legend of Sleepy Hollow was created. More than 7,000 hand-carved jack-o'-lanterns made up these designs that surround the Van Cortlandt house, a home that dates back to the Revolutionary War. And they're all made by local artists. From the Statue of Liberty to a giant dragon, a fire truck, bridges, even a merry-go-round, all made out of pumpkins. And of course, a towering statue of headless horseman himself, and the famous bridge that that he cannot cross. Organizers say it's a year-round planning process. The event attracted close to 200,000 people in 2019. An airline, faced fake news this week. Delta has knocked down a fake news report that claimed Delta pilot died mid-flight days after being vaccinated. The airline said the allegations were false. Mid-flight deaths are rare and airlines are legally required to report them publicly. The lie about the pilot death aired on the anti-vax podcast, The Stu Peters Show. The story was presented by Peters' guest, a lesser-known politician pundit named Jane Ruby. The Twitter has suspended both her account and Peters' Show's account for spreading misinformation. Sponsors of Peters' Show include MyPillow, which is run by conspiracy theory purveyor Mike Lindell, A University of Delaware student is accused of assaulting and kidnapping a fellow student. Newark police say 20-year-old Brandon Fryer attacked a woman at her off-campus apartment on October 8th. They say the two were arguing when he started choking her until she was unconscious. The victim was held captive for 4 hours. She reportedly escaped after Fryer threw her down a flight of stairs. The woman was taken to the hospital with no non-life-threatening injuries. The University of Delaware says Fryer has been suspended and is not allowed on campus. His membership to the Kappa Delta Rho fraternity was also permanently revoked. Fryer is being held on a $38,000 bail. It's unclear if he's retained legal representation. Fires continue to burn on the West Coast. New photos show sequoia trees have been lost in California's Ken NP complex fire. The good news is experts say only the Swain Grove appears to have large areas of high severity fire. So far, the fire has impacted 16 groves. Experts say most of those fires are expected to have beneficial impact by reducing fuel loads and creating conditions for tree regeneration. But losses in the Redwood Mountain Grove appear notable. It's not known yet exactly how many trees have been burned. The fire is 40% contained and has burned close to 88,000 trees, 1,000 acres in Sequoia National Park. It appears the Coachella Music Festival organizers are reversing the event's vaccination requirement. An announcement was posted Tuesday to the festival's Instagram story saying a negative COVID test taken within 72 hours of the event can be used instead of proof of vaccination. Organizers say that decision was made after other festivals have shown safety protocols results in low transmission rates. The Coachella Festival is slated to take place in April. The new policy has not been reflected on its Twitter or Instagram pages. They both still show a post from August outlining the policy requiring proof of vaccination for admission. When we come back, we'll take a quick look at your sports and weather. Stay tuned.
PS News is a live show put together by just a bunch of college students, and we put it out to the public for everybody to see. Different segments that we have with PS News. We have national news, we have world news, and we cover sports and pop culture news as well.
It's been a lot of fun, especially this semester. We have a great crew and talent that make it amazing.
We go live Monday through Thursday from 7 and 7:30.
Welcome to PS News.
Welcome back to PS Sports. I'm Liam Sample. Football Hall of Famer Brett Favre could face a lawsuit over allegedly misspent welfare funds. The Mississippi State Auditor's Office is demanding repayment from a list of parties. It says they illegally used a total of $77 million from the, quote, Temporary Assistance for Needy Families program. The office names, among others, former quarterback and his company, Favre Enterprises. The auditors say they must repay $828,000 in 30 days or face a civil lawsuit. Favre's agent didn't comment on this story by deadline, but Favre tweeted about the audit last year. He said he didn't know the money was misspent and would refund it to the state. A former Ohio State football player died in a house fire in El Rio, Ohio, early Tuesday morning. Firefighters arrived at the apartment building to find 27-year-old Devon Bogard inside, where he was pronounced dead at the scene. Bogard was an assistant football coach at El Rio High School. The cause of the fire is still under investigation, although firefighters believe it started near a couch in the living room. They say it doesn't appear to be suspicious. The fallout continues from uncovered emails former NFL coach Jon Gruden sent during his time as an ESPN analyst. Gruden resigned from his 10-year, $100 million position. And the league calls the emails appalling and contrary to the NFL's values. But as Chris Neway reports, some former players say more needs to be done to change the culture in pro football.
Under pressure. Las Vegas Raiders coach Jon Gruden is out after reports emerged of him using homophobic, racist, and misogynistic language in several emails he wrote over the past decade. In a statement released by the Raiders, Gruden said, quote, "I love the Raiders and do not want to be a distraction. Thank you to all the players, coaches, staff, and fans of Raider Nation. I'm sorry, I never meant to hurt anyone." But many aren't buying his apology.
He's just always been a fraud to me. Never from day one, he's been a used car salesman.
Gruden's comments were uncovered as part of an NFL review of workplace misconduct at the Washington football team, according to the New York Times.
If we find out everything that is in this treasure trove of emails, it could in fact be a reckoning for the NFL.
On Tuesday, Dallas Cowboys owner Jerry Jones declined to comment on whether Gruden's decision to resign was appropriate.
We all continue to recognize what a spotlight you're in, and the way that we should express ourselves.
But others are calling out the league. Former NFL defensive end Ryan Russell, who came out as bisexual 2 years ago, says more needs to be done.
Making sure that the coaches that they hire, the players that they draft, the organizations that they form are being inclusive, are being supportive, and are held to that standard, not just when things come to light, but all the time.
In Washington, I'm Chris Wynn reporting.
That's all for tonight's sports. Let's throw it back to the desk before we take a look at this week's weather.
Thank you, Liam. And now let's take a look at this week's weather with Benny Nezaj.
Thank you, Charlie. I'm PS News meteorologist Benny Nezaj. Today we started off with some beautiful sunny skies, but then we slowly transitioned to ominous skies, which then led to some rain. Let's take a look at your 5-day forecast, however. Wednesday, middle of the week, expect some sun showers, high of 69, 50% chance of precipitation. Thursday and Friday, expect an overcast, high of 69. For Thursday, high of 68 to close out the work week. To the weekend we go. Saturday, expect some rain. High of 71, 70% chance of precipitation, but we end the work week with overall partly cloudy skies and a high of 57. So get ready for some fall-like weather conditions for the next 5 days. As we look over now to the current temps here in the Champlain Valley, it is currently 60 degrees here in Plattsburgh. Down in Ausable Forks, it is 69. As we go over to across the lake, it is currently 66 in St. Albans City, and then over in 70 degrees in Woolston. We headed back to the news desk with Charlie.
Thank you, Benny. And unfortunately, that is all the time that we have for tonight. Whether you're watching from home or on the go, you can find PS News on the Plattsburgh State TV YouTube page and social media at Plattsburgh State TV. Have a good night, Plattsburgh.